Alright, so let's get started with the Q&A. Bismillah. Fadlu.
Person stays up for the whole night, just Isha, past the Fajr. Can he recite Surah Al-Mulk as he's going to bed after Fajr? Would he fall into the category of the one who Surah Al-Mulk?
Sorry, question is, one who stays up all night, the night owl, and he goes to sleep in the morning time, and before he sleeps he recites Surah Al-Mulk. Will he get the virtue that's mentioned in the hadith regarding going to sleep, reciting Surah Al-Mulk, being protected from the punishment in the grave, and the shafa'ah, etc.? Yes and no, no and yes. The no part is that the asl of sleep is supposed to be at nighttime. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. Allah mentions that He made the night sakinan. He made it a means of serenity, of peace, of taking it easy. That's the asl. And also Allah mentions about the nighttime and about darkness and the things that come out when it's dark and the things that take place when it's dark. And that doesn't necessarily apply to the daytime with regards to the body, the sunlight, how things work, etc. But at the same time, the generality of sleep, the generality of what happens when you sleep, the generality of having a dream, the generality of having a disturbing dream, a nightmare, etc. Reciting Ayatul Kursi or Sayyidatul Istighfar or anything making wudu, which is from the adab an-nawm, the recommended acts and the etiquette of sleeping. So it can go either of the two directions. And with that being the case, if you want the virtue, then say it and do it. But the asl, the original concept, is based off of nighttime. Certain ayat and ahadith, things to say before sleep at night because of the specific things that take place at nighttime. But the general concept of sleep, and ulama they've explained these issues such as فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَدْرِي أَيْنَ بَاتَتْ يَدُهُ. When you wake up in the daytime, do you have to wash your hands before you place it into the water? The hadith clearly says batat, baytuta, bilayl. Now, that's in brief, and Allah Azza wa Jalla surely knows best. How to balance ilm with secular studies. It depends on what you want more. With regards to what you want more, if you are a professional doctor or you have a worldly profession, then obviously knowledge is going to be on the side. Free time, go to the masjid, listen to the lecture, listen, read, study, benefit on the weekends, an hour every day, 2 hours a week, whatever you can, whatever is easy for you to do. And if it's the opposite, then the opposite. I like studying more, but I have to work, take care of my mother or my sick grandmother, or have children. And when I'm not working, it's back to the ilm shari, etc. Or get into a profession or a job or career or a way in which you can study as you work. And what you can study as you work. And in brief, I would advise you to use the technology that Allah has tested us and blessed us with. So you have headphones, you have Bluetooth, you're on a truck going somewhere, you can pull out your book out your pocket, your phone. There's so much technology to make things easy for you to seek knowledge. And as one of my students said a few years back, it was 2016 I think when he said this, and now he's saying in 2018, ignorance is a choice. In 2018, ignorance is a choice. And Allah knows best.
Question here, is pain relief such as gas and air, etc. Permissible during labor?
Is pain release?
Relief.
Pain relief.
Such as gas and air, etc. permissible during labor?
Get anesthesia, okay. Yeah. Clear. Clear, inshallah. I don't know him. It's nothing wrong with taking something which eases pain, which causes some type of a lack of your nerves being there, putting you into in this state. As long as, inshallah ta'ala, it's not intoxication, as the ulama of Islam mean, as the ulama of Islam explain, as long as it is intoxication, and a person becoming addicted to alcohol and addicted to intoxicants. So extreme pain, extreme trauma, these type of extreme situations, it's permissible to take painkiller and anesthesia, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and Allah knows best.
Question is, Assalamu alaikum, what is the best way to keep up and not forget what you have memorized already?
The best way to keep up and not forget what you have memorized already is to make review, is to teach it, to write it down. And keep teaching it over and over again. You hear one hadith, you hear one fa'idah, go through your contacts in your phone. Contact everybody that you know and tell them what you learned. The chances of you forgetting that hadith after 20 times, 30 times, 50 times. Some of us have hundreds of contacts. And we send all types of nonsense and rubbish too. And forward all types of tweets and this and that. This is a reality. So this is one of the ways that you can use technology to make review. Tathbeet, tarasikh, is for you to bolster what you have memorized. Me personally, one of the best ways and easiest ways is to teach it. And not only do you get a reward, not only are you paying zakah, but it's a freebie for review and for revision. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Assalamu alaikum. What is the best way to... That's everything? Khair, inshallah.
What's your opinion on the book Al-Jam' Bayna Sahihain by Sheikh Yahya Al-Yahya?
The opinion of Al-Jam' Bayna Sahihain, any book that pertains to the Sunnah and its sciences and helps and categorizes and summarizes and merges together is going to be a benefit. Of course, certain books are better than others. Certain books are more thorough than others. But anything that makes the task easier and simpler, you should try to, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, obtain the book. As far as memorizing the book, to me personally, I was taught in the traditional way of Lulu Marjan. But obviously, Lulu Marjan has its flaws as well. But that's how I was taught and trained to memorize. But there are other books that have a hadith from Sahihain as well. So it's an excellent book along with others as well. But you have to look at what are you trying to get. What's the best thing to do? Memorize the entire Sahih Bukhari, memorize the entire Sahih Muslim, memorize Mukhtasar Sahih Bukhari, or try to combine between the two. It depends on exactly what you're looking for. But the general rule, of course, any book like that is going to be your side. It's going to help out. And it's going to make your road shorter and easier. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Tafadhal akhi. Allah hayyikum wa barakallahu fik.
If you're in the masjid and you hear the adhan, you have to remain. You can't leave until the salah is complete, unless there's a udhr, of course. Does that apply for the women, or can they leave to pray at home knowing that the salah in their house is better for the women?
Questions regarding hearing the adhan in the masjid and not leaving the masjid after one has heard the adhan, illa min udhrin, unless there's an excuse. Question says, I know this applies to men, but does this also apply to women? The Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, Man ja'a minkum al-jum'ata falyaghtasil. He says, whoever comes to Jum'ah has to take a bath. Whoever comes to Jum'ah has to wash up. The ulama of Islam, they say that there's consensus that women do not have to come to Jum'ah. Bil ijma', consensus. However, if a woman does attend the Jum'ah, she is now held responsible of taking the bath just like a man is taking the bath. Even though she originally didn't have to come to Jum'ah. But since she's coming to Jum'ah, she now takes the bath like the what? Man takes the Jum'ah. And based on that, perhaps that's the same what? Ruling here. Because she's in the masjid with the intention of praying. As far as if she came to the masjid for a need, a hajjah, then that's a different story. That's a what? That's a different story. But if she came to the masjid with the intention of worship, then she has to show the same respect to the adhan in the masjid as a man. Just like the issue of the ghusl al-jumu'ah. That's first and foremost. Clear on this? Everyone clear on the rationale that I'm using? You clear or not? Tadah? You got it? That's first and foremost. Secondly is, obviously that's a long discussion with regards to a woman praying in her house and what's best. I'm not trying to open up a can of worms or spread no shubuhat, but we have to think critically now. The hadith that says the prayer of a woman in her home is best for her. لا تمنعوا إماء الله مساجد الله وبيوتهن خير لهن. That part of the hadith, in light of the many other hadith, in which the Prophet allowed women in the masjid, allowed women to stay in the masjid, told the men not to prevent their wives from coming to the masjid. إذا استأذنت امرأة أحدكم إلى المسجد فلا يمنعها. So all of those other hadiths, or if not, most of them are in the Sahihain. وهي أحاديث ثابتة صريحة. And that hadith, pray in your house, it's best to pray in your house, etc. Where those hadiths found. Whether they're authentic or not. But I'm just trying to get you to think critically. I know Noor is making a face at me now. And I know what he's thinking. كيف هذا صح شيخ كذا huh? Allah knows best. Next question. Hopefully that's clear, inshallah. تفضل يا أخي. حياك الله النور. الوجه. The face tells it all. Huh? What he said when the cup is full, huh? It's on the face. تفضل. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
What is the ruling on praying Jum'ah at work? Is it better to pray with the Muslims at work or to find a masjid nearby?
The question is ruling on praying Jum'ah at work. Is it permissible or is it best to pray at work or pray at the masjid nearby? The general rule that the ulama of Islam say and mention is that you should make Jum'ah in the oldest place possible and in the biggest and largest place possible. You should look for and search for the congregation which is older and oldest and largest. So, you work in an office and it's 10 minutes away from a masjid. And your office is 10 brothers or 20 brothers and 12 sisters. That's more than enough for Jumu'ah. More than enough for Jumu'ah. Jumu'ah does not need 40 people. That's extremely weak. It doesn't need 40 people to make Jumu'ah. That's incorrect. What's important is there's enough to make Jumu'ah at work. But 10 minutes away is a masjid that's been there for 30 years, 40 years, 100 years. And there are 100 people in that masjid. You have the ability to leave work. It's no sin upon you or take off the day. It's best to make the Jumu'ah in that masjid which is older and larger. But it doesn't necessarily mean that your Jumu'ah at work is haram or invalid. Clear on this? Now, last but not least, you have to understand that how we live today is very different. And we talk about this in the car, right? How the Salaf al-Salih lived is like night and day. We have 50 masjids. How many masjids in London? If I asked you, you say what? Loads of masjids. Are all of those masjids needed? We know that everybody can't pray in one location. It's not enough space. It's far. It's traffic. People have work. People are in the hospital. But do we need 1,000 masjids in one place? Do we need 20 Eids on one day? Many of the Salaf al-Salih, you will be shocked and you'll be appalled. If you read the Athar, how staunch they were against having a ta'addud al-a'yad wal-jum'ah. 4, 5, 6 different Eids. Many of them, they will say it's invalid, it's haram, you cannot do it. Because for obvious reasons, it takes the body of the Muslims and it slices and cuts it up and rips it apart. 50 Eids in one city or one day. Is that Islam? Everyone can't pray in the same place. We're not being extreme. But let's take 50 and turn it down to 20. Unifying the Muslims and giving respect to the masjids that have been there for the longest. And many of the ulama of Islam in Najd, they will refuse to pray in new masjids if there was an older masjid that's been there for a long time. So be mindful of that. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Tafadhal ya akhi. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Brothers asking, what's the responsibility of Muslims living in the West? Not just to themselves, but to society as a whole.
The responsibilities of Muslims living in the West. The responsibilities of Muslims living in the East. I know what you mean, but you have to understand that unfortunately many places overseas and in the East and Middle East have become secular and nominal as well. At the end of the day, that's a lecture in itself. The Muslims, they have a responsibility to Allah, they have a responsibility to themselves, and they have a responsibility to those whom they mix with and interact with. Their neighbors, their co-workers, their employees, their wives, their husbands, their children, stepchildren, their friends and their enemies. Muslims have a weighty responsibility of establishing the rights of Allah, preserving the rights of the nafs, the rights of your friends, the rights of your brothers, propagating the deen, supporting the deen, protecting the deen, and putting forth a good example for Islam. Last but not least, I would say one of the most important things that are upon the Muslims in the West is to take pride in Islam. It's to be a Muslim and to hold your head high and never to be ashamed or apologetic. And Allah Azza wa Jalla surely knows best. Fadl akhi.
My younger brother had a
Fadl.
Is it best for a woman to pray at home or in the masjid?
Nuruddin, answer your question. Is it best for a woman to pray at home or in the masjid? Fadl. لكن مع ذكر الأدلة الصحيحة ثابتة عن النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. على كل حال, what's important is if a woman is at her home and she concentrates there and she has khushu' and she's safe and she's sound, then alhamdulillah, هذا خير كثير. And if she feels that she comes to the masjid and she's covered properly and is safe, there's nothing harmful outside, and she meets the sisters at the masjid, she listens to the class, she reads the Quran, she sits in the masjid, and she feels closer to Allah in the masjid, فَهَذَا خَيْرٌ كَثِيرٌ. And Allah knows best. How do we understand a peculiar dream that you don't know whether it's from Allah or shaitan? How to understand this dream, and this is a message, are the dream interpreters in Islam, is this permissible? One of the most disheartening things is that we talk about sunnah and hadith, but very, very selectively. Very extremely selectively. Very seldom do we actually read a book of hadith from cover to cover. Very seldom do we teach a hadith book from cover to cover. We have a workshop, we have a seminar, we have a translation, we have a telegram, we have this, and we only pick certain parts of Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim. And oftentimes the same chapters over and over again. Like said last night, what? Mas'al al-Khufayn. This is what the brother said. And Mas'al al-Khufayn is extremely important. But the brothers were having a debate about another issue. They couldn't come to a result, they couldn't come to a conclusion. Fulan said, Sheikh Fulan said, it's haram to take interest, the loans, student loans. And then he says, Ma hukm Mas'al al-Khufayn. Everyone understand the point? So from the Sunnah, Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, these books is the field of dream interpretation. And this is one of the 8 main points that included in a Sahih or a Jami'. It's not just this, that. No. Interpretation of dreams is a major part of the Sunnah. And the Prophet ﷺ himself, he mentioned how dreams are a part of nubuwwah, prophecy. So why are there any classes about dream interpretation? Why are there any lectures about dream interpretation? Why are there any seminars about dream interpretation? And every single one of us sleeps and dreams in general. Something is seriously wrong with our way that we teach and explain the hadiths and the sunnah. And we're leaving major parts of the sunnah out. Everyone understand this? So dream interpretation is permissible, and there are interpreters of dreams. How do you know shaitan, yourself, etc.? Through ilm. Man yuridillahu bi khairin yufaqihu fid din. How do you know it's from shaitan or is it a real dream from Allah? By knowledge. And every Muslim can learn general basic principles of dream interpretation. Every Muslim can learn the basics of dream interpretation. And of course there are those who have skill. There are those who have a high level of knowledge with regards to the etiquette of dream interpretation. So if you have the basics, that's one thing. And if not, go to the mu'abbir, go to the dream interpreter, if there is one. Why aren't there dream interpreters or dream interpretation? Why aren't these things mentioned? Allahul Musta'an. طيب. Question says, سؤال كثيرا ما نقول أو يقول أنه قوله تعالى وعاشروهن بالمعروف قول عام وليس هناك ما يذكر بالتمام ما الذي يدخل في قوله تعالى وعاشروهن بالمعروف فنريد بعض الضوابط جزاكم الله خيرا. ولك كذلك ولك بالمثل هذه الآية بارك الله فيك فهمها والضوابط التي يعني نتعامل بها هذه الآية الكريمة العادة التقاليد التي لا تخالف الإسلام والتي لا تخالف السنة التي لا تحرم حلالا ولا تحلل حراما. فهذه التقاليد والعوائد والعادات عاشروهن بالمعروف في المال في الملبس في المأكل إلى آخره. أشتري لزوجتي سيارة أو بيتا أو ملابس أو إلى آخره على حسب العادة على حسب الثقافة ما دامت هذه العادة وهذه الثقافة لا تخالف أحكام الكتاب والسنة. ومن القواعد الكبرى أن العادة أو العادة محكمة. نحكم العادة بشرط أن تكون عادة غالبة وبشرط أن لا تكون عادة سيئة مخالفة للقرآن والسنة وتعاليم الكتاب والسنة وأحكام القرآن والسنة. فهذا هو الضابط بارك الله فيك بالنسبة لهذه الآية. أي شيء أي خير وأي معروف يجديها الرجل لامرأته فهذا يدخل في هذه الآية وعاشروهن بالمعروف. والله عز وجل أعلم. سؤال. That's it. No more time. إذا كانت لدى امرأة مكية إيش؟ إذا كانت لدى امرأة مسكة من الذهب ما لا يجب عليها دفع زكاة ولد بها مال مؤخر. وأيضا يعني الخط يعني يختلف عن الأول. السؤال الأول كان واضح، السؤال الثاني فيه يعني اشتباه، ممكن سوء قراءتي أنا، لكن السؤال الأول كان واضح يعني. المهم لا يجب عليه دفع الزكاة، لكن إن جمع قد تمت الكمية فهل عليها دفع الزكاة؟ أنا لم أتصور سؤال الأخت الكريمة، فحبذا لو كتبت لنا يعني عبارة أوضح وخط يعني مثل السؤال الأول حتى أتصور سؤال للإجابة عليه، والله أعلم، ونعتذر على هذا. Inshallah, we get that message to the sister, she can write it again, explain it again, or through the imam or something, but then we don't want to leave it straight in. The website? Inshallah, if you can email us at muftiqa@gmail.com and write the question out clearly so we can understand exactly what you're asking to help you bid'nai ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulih nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.